Greetings from Florida. We're working on a 2007 to 2009 Hyundai Santa Fe. This is the left front window at double speed. You've got a small plate there with a Phillips screw behind it. Phillips screw there. There's a cover right there, and there's a Phillips screw behind that, and there's one at the bottom right that I haven't taken off yet, that even I haven't seen yet, but it's there. You'll see in a second. I can see it now. I'm just pulling off the side view mirror cover. Oh, there it is right there. Panel comes off pretty easy. Be careful taking off the wiring harness that goes to the window switches. They're brittle and they break quite easily. You can probably still get them back on even if they break, but if you can avoid it, avoid it. Now you're replacing that entire metal panel. The whole thing comes together. Hold up the new one first. Make sure you get the right one before you take the whole thing apart and then have to put it all back together. Also, note where those two cables cross over. That's unusual for Hyundai and Kia. So on this one particular application, you're going to need to cross the cables over after they're through the panel. Also, this handle, this inside handle, was cracked in a couple places. So I was very careful with it, and you should do the same. I'm just showing you that, again, the cables are going to cross over each other when you put it back together. Remember that. Let's pull out all the rubber. By the way, if this video is helpful, do me a favor, like the video, L-I-K-E, like the video. That'll help other people find it on YouTube, and it helps me with YouTube. You get three, I believe, Torx 20 screws that hold the motor on. Take that off. I'm also going to take off the drill bit that I put in here to lock the guy's window up until I can get back with the part. Two 10mm bolts. And then you're going to take out all the 10mm bolts all the way around. You have to remove the latch as well as the outside handle to do this. So you got three Torx 30 bolts that hold the latch in. You can take those out. You take off the round black cover on the side there. You're going to find a 10mm. It's also a Phillips, but the Phillips is going to strip out. So use the 10mm socket. And you can probably do this without removing that bolt, just to loosen it. That's their goal. But you may have to take it out. You may have to take a pair of needle nose pliers and pull it out to get this off. And then once you've done that, you're going to pull back on the outside handle, just like you're going to open the door. And you can pull out the key cylinder. The whole thing should come right out. You can use a flathead screwdriver to kind of help it along. After you do that, you're going to pull the outside handle sideways towards the outside of the door. And that's how you remove the handle. And there's a 5/16 screw on the other side of that. You'll need to remove that. Now you're taking out the whole thing. You're going to find that the replacement, some of them come with that white plastic bracket that the latch assembly hooks onto, and some of them don't. Some of them you're going to have to go ahead and reuse that, so just keep that in mind. You unplug the wiring harness. You're going to slide the whole wiring harness through. Take that out. We're good. Anything inside the door? Nope, we seem to be good on that too. Grab the new one. And this new one came with the bracket that the latch goes on. I'm going to put that on as well as the speaker. Oh, by the way, I had to drill out the speaker last time I was here. There's 4 rivets that hold the speaker in. You're going to take a punch out the center point of the rivets on the speaker. Then you can drill out the rivets on the speaker. You don't have to drill all the way through, just enough to get the speaker off, because you're going to use self-tapping screws to put it back together, as you're about to see right here with this. It came with some rivets, but I just prefer it. It's just easier and firmer with a larger self-tapping screw. If you have any questions, please ask away. Just ask right here on YouTube, that way I can answer them for everybody. And remember to like the video if this was helpful for you. So now we're going to put that back in. We're not crossing the cables over yet. We're putting them in just like that. And we're going to lock that. You might need a little WD-40 to make it easier to get that latch onto that bracket. And then you're going to go ahead and finagle the rubber pieces through. Yeah, that's always a good idea. Wiring harness. Go ahead and plug it back in. Remember to plug it back in. Pop in the push-ins. Now I'm going to put that long 5/16. You got to line up the carrier first. The carrier is the part that the handle goes into. So line that up properly. I probably could have shown you a photo, but I didn't. You're going to put that 5/16 screw back in to hold everything in place. Don't over tighten it. If you're in Tampa Bay, Florida, we'd love to do this for you. Just give me a call. So I think now I'm putting in the 3 Torx 30 bolts for the latch. Now on this, there's 2 pieces, 2 right above where that speaker is, right above that. There we go. Kind of locks in. 10mm bolts back in. Maybe just a couple of them for starters until you get everything lined up. Nope, I'm putting them all in. That's the kind of confidence I've got. Now you can bring the brackets down a bit so it lines up with where you're going to, I'm opening them up a little bit, where you're going to put the glass back in. But you want to put the motor back onto the regulator before you put the glass down, or else it'll just slide into the bottom. And I think, and I could be wrong here, but I think one of these bolts was different than the other ones. It goes on the right-hand side. The 2 top and bottom bolts are the same. And if there's one that's different, it's the one that goes on the right-hand side. Don't over tighten, you'll snap the regulator. And once you've done that, you can bring the glass down. Tighten that down. Now what's interesting is on the regulator that was there, it was oval where the those holes were. These are not, so you can't reuse those rubber covers. If you really have a thing, if you've got a fetish about it, you can go ahead and put the put some tape over it or something, but it's not necessary. I just tightened down the 10mm bolt that holds the key cylinder in place. Now, very careful because these things break too easy. Oh, looks like I'm going to do the speaker first. Okay. And those are the self-tapping screws I was talking about. I believe they were a 10. It's 5/16 as far as the head goes, but I believe there was the screw size was a 10, if not mistaken. So now we're going to put the handle back on very carefully because we don't want to break the handle any more than it already is. And remember, you're going to cross those over. If you don't, nothing's going to work. Harder than it looks. Three Phillips screws, hold that in. Very gentle on the handle. They break very easy. Again, we're in Florida, so the heat tends to affect the plastic. And we put the door panel back on. Again, be careful putting the wiring harness back onto the switches. It tends to break pretty easily. The other wiring harnesses should all be fine. And I think you've got this under control. So again, if you have any questions, ask right here. If you have a chance to, please like the video. And I thank you very much for watching. Have a great week.